Alright everyone, welcome back to the videos. So in today's videos we are going to be talking about a subject that is very pertinent in 2020, and that is meeting software. So Skype, Zoom, this kind of stuff. Obviously in 2020, these kind of remote meeting software solutions have become even more important. And so in this video, I want to go through all of the kind of more common options and discuss their pros and cons a little bit, and then give you my suggestion and my favorites. And so actually, we'll start with just listing a couple of them. So first of all, with your Windows login and with your Windows email, you have Skype. And Skype is a great way to make phone calls to other people around the world for free. You can also add actual phone credit that will allow you to call actual phone numbers anywhere on Earth for various rates. And that's a useful feature if you want to call a phone number instead of just a user account, also using Skype. That is a feature that Skype has. You can do group calls with Skype. And also Skype for Businesses, which is the same one that you'd have access to as an NGO, allows you to have many more meetings, many more people involved with Skype in a single meeting. And as you can see, here is this Meet Now option. And so to set up a meeting, you'd click Host a Meeting or Join a Meeting. And it's as simple as that. So it says Meet Now. This will create a call for you. And all you need to do is share it. And then people can join with no Skype account needed. So I'm going to go ahead and click Go Ahead. And we'll call it like Test FIF Meeting. And you can then choose to send invites by copying the link, sending a Gmail, an email, using the default mail app, using Outlook, using Facebook Messenger, whatever you want. Super, super easy. And then, of course, I can also just copy this link and send it in a message or in a group email to anybody that wants to join, and they don't need a Skype account to do that. So then I go ahead and click Start Meeting, and there it would go. So simple as that. I've got my camera switched off because my room is really messy right now, but that's the idea. So if we're looking at the Skype meeting view panel here, so there's a couple things to note. We've got our grid view, and that'll basically put everybody into a small picture, into a small grid. You can change that from grid view to large grid, which will basically just make everybody a bit smaller, especially if you have a larger group. Speaker view is going to bring the person that's speaking to the front of the screen. You can go full screen mode if you'd like, and you can exit again from there. If you want to add people to the call, you have this option here, and this will allow you to add phone numbers or anything. And so you can also search for Skype accounts, or you can just search for people's emails, and that way you can quickly add them to the call. You also have this share button down here, which will pop those open again. And importantly, you'll have the record option. Now, this is only going to be for Skype business accounts. And so this may or may not be grayed out for you, but you can look into the different options that Skype allows based on your NGO. For example, we might be able to find a discount or some sort of NGO rate to allow us to get the full Skype features. So here you can turn your microphone off and on. And one thing that I always recommend people to do, especially in larger meetings, is to make sure your microphone is muted while you're not actually speaking. And that's simply so that, people don't have to listen to you sniff or cough or sneeze or whatever. It just, removes any distraction from the actual meeting. Here you can also turn your video off and on. And you also get a background effect. And so these are just AI-powered artificial backgrounds. If your room is messy, you can apply this little trick, and it should go ahead and apply that to you. So let's give that a little quick test here. So I'm going to go ahead and put on this room, and then let's go ahead and open up my camera there. And oh yeah, look at that. That's pretty good. So it's a little bit weird because of the angle of my camera being on the top of my screen there. But it gives you the idea of what you can do with it. So I'm going to go ahead and shut off my camera there again. So the background effect is like a fun new trick. You guys should be fairly familiar with this. This is where you can adjust the background options. You've got your webcam settings there, so you can adjust options to make the color and everything look a little bit right, and that'll help with your presentations, right? You want to make sure you're looking professional in your meeting or your workshop. So yeah, there you go. That's one way to help out. All right. And then you've also got the chat box, which you can open on the side. And so this would be a great way to, for example, while you're having a meeting, you could be copying and pasting links to shared files, to websites that you want people to look at while they're looking at their meeting. And then importantly, you have screen share. Now, one of the things I've noticed a lot these days is people being a bit confused about how screen share works. And when they get into screen sharing inception, they get a little bit confused. So basically, the way screen share is going to work is it's going to give you a few options. And the first option is that it's going to screen share everything that is happening on your screen. So if you click on desktop, it'll screen share your desktop, which means if I drag another window in here, if I do anything else, if I switch over to a Google Chrome tab, everybody that is looking at my screen share will be able to see that. The other option is that you just choose a particular window. So for example, if I have Chrome open and I would like to share Chrome, you'll now see that it gives me the option of sharing two things. So I can share Skype or I can share my Google Chrome tab. So this will basically make sure that the only thing that people are seeing is the thing I want them to see. If I have personal information on one page, I can just share a particular tab with them. Okay? And then here we've got a couple of the other tabs that I have open that are not shareable, right? The other thing that you can choose to turn off or on is to share computer sound. And so what is computer sound? Well, that is any noise that your computer is making. So for example, that binging is actually computer sound. And the screen capture software that I am using is actually recording that separately from my microphone. And I can show you that over here. So here's my screen capture software, and there's the screen captured inception that I was talking about. And you can see my voice talking right here. This is something else that we'll get into later. But watch when the computer's desktop audio makes noise. You see that binging there? So that's actually what we're talking about when we're talking about share computer sound. It's the sounds that your computer is making. So you guys are actually hearing those bings, not because my microphone's recording it, but because my screen capture software is actually recording its sounds separately. So this would basically be the same thing. When you're sharing your computer screen or your computer window, you have the option of turning your sounds for that computer off or on. So if you wanted to show a video, you would need to make sure this is on. Anything that's going to have audio, you'd need to make sure that's on. And then you just click start sharing, and people will be able to see your screen. And so to stop it, you can just go there again. Let's click on that share screen option and stop sharing. Raising your hand will give a notification like this, that somebody has raised their hand and would like to speak. Reactions are reactions. And more is just basically going to allow you to get into those settings menu again. So again, choosing your background effect, right? We can change our location. And audio and video settings will open up this little thing that will allow us to adjust the audio as well by scrolling down. So here we can change our default microphone if you have different microphones that you're setting up. You can test the audio, make sure it's all working, adjust the speaker level, and you can set these other settings as well. All right. So Skype is, in my opinion, one of the better options, although it does tend to get a little bit laggy and buggy when you have more and more people coming in. The thing that I like about Skype is that it's built into your Windows computer already, and it's already associated with your Windows account. So no need to download additional software, no need to create another account, which is always something that I have to consider. So I'm going to go ahead and end that Skype call, and we're going to go and talk about our second thing. Of course, also within Skype, you just have your general kind of interface here, which you can send messages, photos, files. You can send little voice clips, record a message, send them to later. It's kind of the same thing as Facebook Messenger. You can share all of these generic things, and you can create chats. So in this case, this was our chat from the meeting, but you can create new chats with new contexts and add all sorts of information to that. And then very quickly before we close this, we'll just open up the Skype settings here. So this will let you, I'm going to have to blur out some of this, which is private information, but this is going to let you adjust some things. You can add your credit. You can get a Skype phone number, which is going to be pretty cool. So people can actually call you using that number. You can adjust your profile settings, and that will actually open up a online page where you can edit your Skype settings. This is basically going to be your Microsoft account online. And then you can close your account if you want. And then you can go through this and check all of these settings, right? So you can choose whether it automatically starts with Windows or not. This might be something that you want in case you just want people to be able to call you the second you turn your computer on. And it'll let people know, okay, hey, he's available, he's online. On close, keep Skype running. What that means is that when I actually press this X button here, it doesn't fully close Skype. It just sends it down here to live down here in the, you guys know this expression, system tray. So any of your programs that are selected to on close keep running will continue running in the system tray. All right. You've got appearance, so you can go light theme if you prefer that. I prefer the dark theme. Your audio and video is the same. Your calling is, I don't really need to mess with this, but you can check it out if you want. And then you've got some other things like messages where you can adjust the text size, all sorts of little custom things here. Notifications, this is an important part. Again, you might not necessarily want these things like constantly binging and bopping all the time. So you can go in here and decide what you want. So yeah, I've got it set up because I don't actually use Skype that much, but it is an option here. And you've got your contacts list here. And again, this should automatically pull your contacts based on your Microsoft account. So for my work account, I actually don't have any contacts saved because most of my contacts are saved over in my personal account. All right, that's going to summarize Skype. So watch here when I close it. It actually is still open. It's down there. And if I want to really close Skype, like permanently shut it down so that nobody can call me, right click, quit Skype. And now Skype is totally shut down. Okay, that's the first one. The next one we're going to talk about is my personal favorite, which is, of course, because I'm a Google person, is Google Meet. And so from any Google page, I can click up here, as we discussed before, and I can open a meeting. Now, the reason I like meetings so much is because it integrates so nicely with emails and calendars. And so here I'm going to click join to start a meeting. Of course, this is all done online. We'll say test meeting. And there we go, joins. So the first thing it's going to do, and this is something that you guys should be aware of, is if you see a pop-up like this, it is basically asking for permission to use your microphone and your camera. And so I'm going to just dismiss this, but this is what you're really looking for. This is Chrome. Google Chrome is asking you that it's asking for permission to allow this particular website to use your microphone and camera. I've seen a lot of people trying to join meetings. They get stuck because they don't see this pop-up box. And if for some reason or another, this pop-up box gets hidden, don't forget to press Alt-Tab and scroll through your open windows to see if it's somehow hidden behind another window. I've seen that happen to a few people before, where the permissions box for the camera and the microphone was just hidden behind a window, and they didn't know how to get into the meeting with their video and audio because they weren't familiar with Alt-Tabbing through their open windows to find it. And so I'm going to go ahead and click Allow, and then it's going to ask for permission to show notifications. I'm going to say Allow in this case. And there we go. And so again, I've got my camera turned off. So you're just going to keep seeing this black screen when I've got my camera on. And it even pops up with this thing that says, to avoid an echo, use the same device for your mic and speakers. So basically what they're saying for that is headsets are best. If you have a microphone and if you have separate speakers, the audio from the speakers can enter the microphone and then be sent through the program and come out again as sound from your speakers, and then go back into the microphone and then be sent through as audio that you're sending in and then coming out again from your speakers, and it forms a loop, right? And that is literally feedback. So when you're hearing those like kind of sounds in people's meetings where it's like wow, 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 and it just gets worse and worse and worse with this kind of looped sound that just gets louder and louder, that's what you're actually hearing. You're hearing sound from the input going into the computer, getting sent online, then coming out through that person's speakers and coming back into their microphone and circling around again forever. And there's a few ways to do that. The easiest one is for people to just use headsets or earphones. That way the sound that's coming out of their computer is isolated directly into their ears, so there's really no chance that it can get into the microphone coming in. The other way to do it is just have them turn their speaker volume down. That will help a lot, although it might make it harder for them to hear. And then the final option would be to use some sort of microphone that has a built-in noise cancellation. And so plenty of microphones nowadays actually record the ambient sounds around them and try to block that out of the microphone's recording. And so that just depends on the current microphone setup that you have. When in doubt, you can also just try moving your microphone away from wherever your speakers are. On a laptop computer, these are pretty close together. Your microphone is that little dot, that little hole in the top of your computer's lid. And the speakers are usually down on the keyboard area. And so usually that's far enough apart for them to not have very much feedback. But, even in that situation, sometimes using a headphone can help. And if you're on a laptop, you don't need to worry about the audio as much if you use headphones, because the laptop's microphone is usually going to be good enough. And even if you plug headphones in that don't have their own built-in microphone, the laptop's microphone will still continue to work. So once I have this set up, to start the meeting as the meeting host, I have to click Join Now. The other option is Present, but we're going to get to that later because we can always start a presentation later. And what Present means is basically screen sharing. That's all it means. So I'm going to click Join Now, and there we go. So it's going to come up like this, and you'll notice that there's a few ways that people can join. So first of all, they can actually call in to a meeting using this phone number and this PIN code. This is true of every Google meeting. So that means that if somebody is even on the road or traveling, they can call in and still be part of the meeting over the phone. So that's a pretty cool feature. Another thing is there's this link here, but the easy way to copy it is to just click on this, copy joining info. And then finally, I can click down here and add people and literally just start typing names, right, from my Google contacts. And this is one of the reasons why I love this, is it's so easy to find people just from my Google contacts, right? And that will allow me to quickly and easily add people to this meeting. And when I'm ready, I would click Send Email, and it would shoot them an email with the link to join, and they would be perfectly able to just click on that link and join the meeting. The other thing is you can add a phone number, and it will actually call somebody's phone number and add them to the meeting. And you can do that at any time during the meeting. So if you want to add more people to the meeting, you just come up here, and here is where you can actually see all the people in the meeting. So this little button here will close or open that thing on the side that shows who's in the meeting, right? So if I click on that to show everyone, then here's the option to add more people, and that same little pop-up comes back, okay? Also in this little side panel, we have our chats panel. And again, chats are always important to have if you're having a work-related meeting, so that people can paste links, update attachments, all sorts of cool stuff that you can do over there on the side. Now, this is a little bit more of an advanced feature, but you can, for example, do, polls, Q&As, or if you have a very large meeting and it's then designed to break up into smaller meetings, you can actually automatically generate breakout rooms, which will put different people in different rooms. So you'd click here to set up a breakout room, and you could have as many breakout rooms, and people could then jump into those different meetings from the different rooms. So it's a cool thing to do if you have a large meeting and then you need to go into kind of more of a discussion session with each team and then come back again together at the end. That's a little nice trick that you can do. So we'll go ahead and close that. So just as before, we still have our raise hand option. Now this is cool. This is something that Google offers, is using their AI, they can actually put captions on. And so the captions are basically automatically going to translate what I'm saying. And so this might be useful if somebody is in a place where they can't have their audio turned up, or if they're having audio problems. The captions will actually help make it clearer for them to be able to read the text that is being said. And so it's pretty smart stuff. It usually gets it right. I don't see too many mistakes, as you can see here. So far, it hasn't made too many errors. Yeah, pretty cool. So I'm going to turn that off because we don't need that. And the other option, of course, down here is Present Now. And so just as before, this gives us a similar option. So presenting my entire screen is going to screen share my computer, right? So that means if I was set up like this, right, and I did present my entire screen, this is what people are going to see, okay? Now, in Google Meets, it's going to pop up like this and ask for confirmation. It's going to say, hey, are you sure this is what you want to show? And you're going to actually start this, you need to click on it. And this is another thing that I see people get confused about in Google Meets, because unless they click on it, right? So I'm going to start again, present now, entire screen. You'll notice the share button is grayed out. So people are like, wait, what's going on? Oh, I need to click on it first before I can share. Once you do that, you start presenting your screen. So now it says I'm presenting to anybody. My screen is different because, of course, if I saw what I was seeing, then it would look like this, right? It would be the screen inception thing. So you're presenting your own screen, which is presenting your own screen, which is presenting your own screen, so on and so on forever. This is another reason why I personally strongly recommend everybody, as mentioned in all the way back in course number 1, it's a great investment to have multiple monitors for your professional work environment, right? If you have 2 screens, you can set up your screen sharing on one while you've got your other things going on another. It just makes it so much easier to multitask and handle things in a professional way rather than having to like, oh, wait, stop, sorry, I shared something I shouldn't have, or drag this around. It just is much better that if you have 2 screens. So to stop presenting, a few options. So first, you can pause your screen sharing there. You can hide this little pop-up, or you can stop sharing by clicking this little thing. So I'm going to go ahead and hide this. And if I want to get it back, I just simply go over to here to presenting and stop presenting. So I'm going to go ahead and stop presenting my screen, and that's fine. A couple other things in terms of the view. So the classic layout for a Google meeting is going to actually put people over here in this empty space on the right-hand side. And so everybody will appear here. And then as more people join, whoever's speaking will come to the center and be highlighted. If somebody is presenting their screen, this is one of the big benefits that I enjoy with Google Meeting, is that you can actually have multiple people sharing their screen at the same time, so you can jump and look at different people's screen. Okay? And of course, then the last thing we've got here is the setting. So here we can change the layout. And so you can see all the different layouts. You can adjust the size of the tiles. So you can have automatic, which just adjusts as needed. Spotlight is going to highlight the person that's speaking. Sidebar is the typical kind of standard one with people on the right-hand side and the speaker in the middle. Tiled is if you have a big group and you want everybody to be viewed at the same time, and then you can adjust the size down there. All right. Obviously, right now, there's only one person in this meeting, so not that useful for me to show you. Change background is just like before. It's going to have these kind of fun backgrounds, and it will automatically put you out of them. So there we go. Maybe that's a better image to look at than my terrible camera, just staring at the inside of its lid. My camera actually has a shutter, so it closes up when I'm not using it. So we'll just leave it on the horses for now. All right. We've also got captions off and on. Use a phone for audio. That's an option as well. Whiteboard, open a jam. So this is a new thing that they've added, and I really like this. So what this does is this opens, and you can choose an existing one from Google Drive, or you can start a new one. This is basically like a brainstorming whiteboard that's just going to pop up, and you can have your markers, your pens, everything that you can imagine, you can add a little sticky note, you can type to have whatever you say, right? Save that. And then there it is. And now I can drag it around. I can rotate it. I can resize it, make it bigger, right? And so you can have all sorts of like group discussions and planning sessions, even while working remotely, doing drawings and sketches, uploading pictures, right? Like all sorts of things. So, here's a Google image search, computer, whatever. And so it's like, yeah, let's put this picture in, insert. So you can do all sorts of cool stuff using this what do they call it? This is like similar to Microsoft Whiteboard, Jamboard. They call it a Jamboard, right? And so here, it's just open up in this little pop-up. You can also open it up in the actual online platform for Jamboard. But again, this would be a shared thing that everybody in the meeting has access to and can write on and comment on and work on together. So this is a really cool feature. You can, create a new frame over here, and now you have multiple frames that you can scroll through. And people can make their comments and everything. So it's really a useful feature to have. It's almost like having a whiteboard right with you in the middle of your team meeting, even when you're going digital or working from home or working remotely. All right. So pretty cool. You can click up there to change the name. So we'll call this test meeting Jamboard. Oops, not Hamboard, Jamboard. And done. And that's all saved to Google Drive. If I click open on Jamboard, this allows me to search for my existing jams that I've created in meetings before. I don't tend to use this because for this kind of thing, I prefer Microsoft Whiteboard, which I don't remember if I showed you, but it can be found. I haven't got it turned on here. Let's go ahead and turn it on. So go to Toolbars, And where is it? Show Windows Ink Workspace button right there. So if you have this little Windows Ink Workspace turned on, right from that, you can just click to download and install Whiteboard, and then it'll open, and you have a very similar thing, but it's through Windows. So this is what Whiteboard looks like. Yep, fine. Yeah, get started. Yes, 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 yes. No, you don't get my optional data. Right, so this is a whiteboard. So it's the same idea, and as you can see, it's automatically logged me in with my my Windows account. I can invite people, I can use a link to share, and it'll create a link. I can send that to anybody, and they can get on their computer and see it, and it's all live, right? So then people could like jump in together and help me work on some brainstorming session or drawing session or design session. We could do it all together while being in a meeting on another platform. All right, so this is kind of the Google's answer to Microsoft Whiteboard. All right, I think that wraps up Google Meet. This is, to be honest, this is one of my favorite forms of meeting. It seems to be one of the nicest ones. Here we've got, there you go. You can see that our Jamboard attachment has been attached to this meeting. Yeah, pretty cool. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera there. When it comes to recording, I'm not 100% sure. I don't believe there's a built-in way to do it. I tend to just use my screen capture software to record things anyways, and you can get free screen capture software like the one I'm using here, which is OBS Studio. So OBS Studio is completely free, and I'm using it right now to record my meeting. So that's just how I prefer to do it. So it doesn't really matter whether the system has a built-in recording tool or not. I don't need it because I'm recording things separately anyways. Okay, so let's go ahead and close out of our Google Meet here. So I'm just going to end this meeting by clicking Leave Call. And yeah, fine, we get that. Return to the home screen. Now I want to show you one slight other variation of getting a Google meeting going. And this is probably my preferred method and the one that I find to be more practical. And that is directly from the calendar, okay? So when I'm creating an event, you'll notice that I can add a Google Meet with video conferencing. So I'd say this is a test event. Let's put it like way in the future. So let me change the date to like January 1st, 2021. And there we go. And so then I can save that. And now anybody that's been invited to that meeting, where is it? January 21, right here, test event. So anybody that's been invited to that meeting, right? So right here, I can add guests to the meeting. And all they need to do is from their phone or from their computer, just click on this button, join the Google meeting, and there you go. It brings you directly to that meeting. It's super, super easy, and it means that there's never any confusion of when is the meeting happening. It's just all right there. Nobody has to go download additional software. There's no time limit. You just join the meeting. So this is a really, really powerful tool, and I love the way it integrates with Google Calendar. And again, you know, you could have this integrate to Asana as well, right? This would be very easy for me to have this link over to an Asana task as well. So this is how I would prefer to do any sort of meetings with people outside of our project. However, there are a few more softwares that we should discuss. Now, everybody knows about Zoom. So everybody knows about Zoom. Oh, and by the way, something that I didn't mention about Skype is that Skype also can work on the computer. So I think, yeah. So you can actually create a meeting and have calls on Skype online without actually downloading and running the program. And the same is true of people that are joining. So this is like basically, if you're using Skype online, you just need to be within a web browser to log in and use Skype. And if you're invited to a meeting, you don't even need a Microsoft account to join in. Okay, so here's Zoom. They also have a program that you can download. They also have an online platform, and I'm not even going to discuss it because of a few reasons. First of all, everybody is overly familiar with Zoom now, and two, I don't know why. It's a terrible platform. I really don't like it. It has a time limit unless you're doing the paid ones. Like it's just it is so many. I often find it to be buggy, and most importantly, it's not secure. There's been tons of issues with Zoom having people hack meetings and join meetings and spam meetings with all sorts of stuff. And just there's so many other free options out there that I don't really know why everybody is so obsessed with Zoom. So personally, Zoom is not one that I am going to be recommending. I will always recommend Google Meet over that. Now, another thing I should just remind everybody is that Facebook Messenger can also do group chats, right? You can start a group call just on Facebook Messenger. That's an easy way to do it. I'm not sure if Telegram does that, but I wouldn't be surprised if Telegram had at least a group chatting feature. I don't know if they have a group video chatting feature. What is left, I think, is going to be my favorite option of all of them, and that is Discord. Now, what the heck is Discord? So first of all, Discord is not new. This has been around forever. Well, not forever. For a few years. Well before the pandemic, right? And basically, the reason I enjoy Discord so much, especially in 2020, is because it does the best job of replicating the experience of being in your office with your team. All right? And so the way Discord works is first by setting up a server. By the way, Discord is completely free, so this is no money expended on this service at all. So the first thing you do is, and again, you can access Discord online, or you can download and set up an account and log in and have it on your computer, which is what I do. It also has a great app on your phone, which is very nice and clean and a great way to keep in touch. And so the first thing you would do is create a new server over here on the left-hand side. So these are going to be the lists of all your servers. And so you can use templates from here. And as you can see, this is a gaming-centered thing. It originally started as a gaming tool, but is branched out into so much more. So you can use a template to help you get started, or you can just create a blank one and just create my own. And once you do that, it's going to come up with something like this. So you're going to have a little bubble. And as you'll see here, I have 3 servers created for my work Discord. Fauna and Focus Cambodia, I have Fauna and Focus Management Team, and I have Friends of Fauna and Focus. And so basically I have 3 separate online offices. This is a chat room. Like back in the day, we used to have these online internet chat rooms. That's basically what this is, but it's with a lot more features. And so Fauna and Focus Cambodia is just going to be the team on the ground in Cambodia. The management team is going to be Fauna and Focus International Team, which are all around the world. And Friends of Fauna and Focus is where we do stuff with volunteers, with people that are interested in following us, donors, that kind of information, right? Those kind of people, former students. So this is like a public room where we can kind of have conversations with people. We can ask them for help. They can give feedback. It's all sorts of cool stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and open the Friends of Fauna and Focus channel and just show you what it looks like here. So you'll notice that in the middle here, we have this giant chat room. And that is because you'll notice that we are selected text channel general, and this is just the default text channel that comes in. You can create as many of these channels as you want, and when you create a new channel, you're allowed to choose whether it's a text channel or a voice channel, and you can give it a name, right? You can even make it a private channel, which means only certain members and roles will be able to view this channel, right? And then it's going to say who can access this channel, and you can say, all right, I want only administrators, and all of this is customizable. You can come up with as many roles as you want. You could have volunteers, interns, part-time staff, full-time staff, managers, coordinators. You could set up all different roles or all different levels of access and completely customize who has access to which channel and which role has access to manage that channel. So that's how you'd create a new channel. And as you can see here, we've set up a couple different voice channels. And so first we've got the Friends of Fauna and Focus chat. And so even when I click on this, I still have this general text channel in the middle here because, of course, this is just the main text channel. I could have more text channels if I want to click through, but right now you'll notice that every time I speak, my name turns green. And so basically anybody else who double clicks on Friends of Fauna and Focus chat will actually come into this chat room and be able to hear my voice. And so basically it's like we're sitting in the room together. So it's not necessarily a meeting. We haven't arranged a meeting. It's just a chat room. And so we can just join the chat room or not join the chat room. And so as you can see here, we've got this set up with Friends of Fun and Focus. We've got a volunteering chat room. And if I double click on them, if I single click on them, it moves me into that chat room. And so now if somebody was in volunteering, they can't hear me anymore. You can only hear what is happening in your current voice chat room. And if they don't have permission to enter a room, like this one has a lock on it, they can't get into the room. I'm an administrator, so I can get to all of them. And as an administrator, I can also drag people around and put them into different rooms, right? So this is an easy way for me as an administrator to manage who is where. You can also do things, for example, if we go over to our Fauna in Focus server here, this is how we've set ours up. And so what we typically did in 2020 when we were doing the stay-at-home, working from home period, which we did for about 2.5 months, is we made the agreement that we would continue to operate our regular working schedule with some slight flexibility. And that's, of course, because we have no desire to have people working, weekends or in the evening. It still is a 9-to-5 job. So we tried to keep it as best we could to 9-to-5. And so as such, at 9 a.m., people were expected to log into this this voice channel called Available to Talk. Okay. And the whole team would be in here. And so we could say hi to each other in the morning. We could have like a couple like little short words, and then we'd get to work. And once we get to work, we don't want everybody to be, talking and hearing every little thing that's going on in their house or in their home. Like things come up, things make noise. And so then we use this button down here. And so you'll see we have 3 options here. We have mute, deafen, and user settings. So mute is going to mute my microphone. Deafen is going to both mute my microphone and mute my speakers. And so what this means, if I click mute and deafen, you'll see both of those symbols come up, muted and deafened. That means I can't hear anything. So if a bunch of other people are in this chat room, they could be speaking to each other and I won't hear them. Okay? So that's what deafened means. Muted means I can speak and they won't hear me. You'll notice there's no more green symbol around my symbol there. So if I undeafen that, both of them are going to undeafen. And so now I can speak and communicate, and I can hear as well. If I mute myself only, now you'll see only the microphone has been muted, which means I can't speak, but anything else happening in this chat room, I can still hear. Anything that's going on in that room will come out of my computer speakers. I'll be able to hear that. And so what we did at Fauna in Focus during this interesting time when we were all at home is we made the agreement that, from 9 to 5, you should be, except for if you're on your lunch break, you should be available in front of your computer, ready to answer questions that might come up, right? The idea is that we're all still working. We're not on vacation, right? And so as such, we set up this Available to Talk chat room, and we made the agreement that when you're here, it's as if you're sitting in the office at your workplace. And so you don't necessarily need to speak all the time. And so what we did is we would mute ourselves. But we did not deafen ourselves. And what this means is that we could have 5 people in here, all muted, but we can all hear what's happening in this chat room. And what that means is that if I needed somebody's help on a particular project that I was working on, I could literally just come down here, unmute myself, and shout their name. I could be like, "Hey, Melanie, are you there? Could you help me with something?" And then she would hear that coming out of her computer as if we're sitting right next to each other in the office. And she would then go down and unmute her computer, and she goes, "Sure, yeah, what can I help you with?" But instead of having our whole conversation right there, we would just move up to general chat. That way, the people that are still in Available to Talk don't have to listen to this whole conversation that they don't need to be a part of, right? And then once we were done, we would mute ourselves again and go back to Available to Talk. And this was basically almost as if you were sitting in the office with people, because everybody's there. We can see that everybody is next to each other working. And if you want to ask somebody a question, you just unmute yourself and you say, "Hey, Brum, give me a hand with something. I need your help." And they would just get on and answer you because they could hear you. And then we also made the rule, like, if you do go away, like if you have to go outside or if you go for a lunch break or for whatever reason, if any reason you're going away from your computer, you would move yourself down to this group here, away from computer, which basically means not available for the time being. And that was just helpful so that I wasn't sitting around here going, "Hey, are you there? Are you there? Can you hear me?" Like, it would be a waste of time. So we made the agreement, like, if you're not actually sitting at your computer working, if you need to step away for any reason, just jump down into AFK, which is away from keyboard. All right. Then what we also did is we had these private chat rooms. And so, for example, we sometimes wanted our Cambodian staff to be able to have their own private discussions, maybe without all of the volunteers being able to access that discussion. And so we set up a private staff meeting room where all of our Cambodian team would be able to go to have their own private discussions, and the other rest of the team members would not be able to access that, and then vice versa in the same. So our volunteers had their own little private chat room where they could go to have conversations. Maybe if we're doing a staff evaluation or something, you might want to have a private conversation where other people should not have access to. So we did that just by setting up user roles and abilities and making sure that people were assigned to the correct user role. And so, again, you can invite people to rooms here by clicking on this little invite, and it's going to pop up with your list of your team member. You can adjust the settings for the channel by going there, where it allows you to set the channel name, set the permissions here. So this is basically all of the various permissions for what people can do within this channel, right? And so you can basically do careful, you have unsaved changes. It's saying it wants me to save the changes there. So this is going to allow channel members to view this channel. This one is not, and this one is not going to allow. Okay, so this is basically a neutral setting, a green setting, a positive setting, and a negative setting. So this is very customizable in terms of what you can do with each particular channel. And then you can delete the channel if you want to get rid of it. And so hopefully you guys see the benefits of this as opposed to the other programs, right? It's not a meeting at a set time, right? This isn't for organizing meetings or workshops or discussions. It's just a digital office space, right, where you can all talk to each other. Now, one thing that's pretty cool is we specifically set up this Friends of Fauna in Focus so that we could have kind of public forum. And so as you can see here, we have all of these like conversations and feedback going on with various volunteers who are logging in to help out with different things. And so we can actually set stuff like this up that allows people to jump in and start conversations with us. And so, for example, we just did a podcast where we were working with Eric, the reptile guy, and I was able to actually grab his, invite him to this channel, and then I just grabbed him and brought him down into the private chat, and we had a whole video conference session right there. And so it's not only voice chat that you can do here, you can also do video chat and even screen sharing. And so to show you what that would look like, so first of all, normally when you select a voice channel, you might see just this big picture of you and your voice, and it's telling you like, hey, yep, your voice is in here. And if you select, and this is one of the reasons why I like Discord so much, I'll go ahead and unmute that mic there. You can actually see the list of people there and just click on whoever they want, and it's going to bring them to the front. You can arrange it like a grid. And so you have these two different modes, but you can also click through and see exactly what you want. Now, here's another cool trick of this. So this right now is just my voice, but let's go ahead and turn on the camera. And so now my camera is on. So now people are actually seeing my camera. And now I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And so this is going to pop up with an option that says applications or screens. Now, again, if you have multiple screens, you select screens and you select which of your screens you want to share. And you have to click it, right, to be able to actually get into the next screen. So I'm going to go back then. And so screens is going to let you pick between your actual monitors, which monitor do you want to share, and it will show everything that appears on that monitor. Just like before, you can also choose to only show a particular application. So if I was to open a Chrome application window, for example, because I wanted to have a walkthrough session with my team, showing them how to do something in Google Chrome, right? And I wanted to teach them how to set up their inbox or whatever I wanted to do. I'd go to share my screen, and where is my Chrome application? Why is it not showing up? Hang on, maybe it's because I'm on the home screen. Let's see. That's very strange. Ah, there it is. So now, yeah, it wanted me to actually go to a web page. So it'll let me choose between sharing a screen or sharing a particular application, just like all of the other screen sharing things. However, here's the big difference. Let's go over to, I don't know, Gmail inbox is probably better. So here's the big difference is when I, if I choose, oops, wrong one. If I choose to share this screen, first of all, it's going to give me this option where I can actually choose what I'm streaming again. lets you set the resolution, the frame rate, and now check this out. So I'm going to go live. And so now look what's happening here. My video is still right here, right? Like, here it is. Hi. Sorry, my room is really messy, so I don't want to show it. But my video is still there and my screen is there. And the great thing is everybody can do this. So you could have every single person logged in. Not only are they sharing their video and their voice, but they're also sharing their screen, and you can see all of it in one point together. And if I want to switch over to something, I just click on them. So if somebody is like, wait, I don't understand, I would just select on them and I'd be able to follow along. Like, yeah, okay, try moving that there. It's a really easy way to do group conversations and group training sessions with lots of people. So that's why Discord is going to be my top recommendation. There's no time limit to this. It's super, super easy. The only thing that you might notice is that when somebody starts sharing their screen, you might actually have to click a button that says join stream, right? Because you're basically streaming your screen to Discord. And so people will have to basically say, yes, I want to join that stream. I want to see it. And so people would actually click into it. They can't just be, they can't just wait for it to just start. They would actually have to say, yes, I want to watch that stream. Okay. Also, just remember that they do need to click into the voice channel where this is all happening, right? If they're down here, or if they're just in the team text chat, then they're not going to see or hear anything, right? They need to click into the channel that we're in. You have to think of each of these particular items as a physical room. And so if somebody is in a different room, they can't see or hear what we're talking about. So they need to come and join the room with us. Okay? So super cool features in Discord that I cannot recommend strongly enough. Here you've got your standard mute, your stop streaming, your turn off camera. Pop out is cool. So that's actually going to pop that little meeting out into this separate little pop out. Full screen is full screen. That's pretty clear. And then if you want it to go back in, you just return app to in, and now it's going to be nested inside there again. Here you can choose to show or not show non-video participants if you're having a video session. And so for me, this Discord is the best one because it has the most features for free and just offers everything that all the other platforms do plus more. I really just love the ability of, and so if you wanted to, if somebody wanted to join this channel, right? If I wanted to invite somebody, so yes, you can click on this to create invite, but the other thing is you can invite them to the entire channel. And so I do this a lot. Oh, by the way, when I leave that, you'll see that this is still going, right? So I've still got that stream going on over there. So if I wanted to end this stream, I'd have to click this button here. So stop streaming. That's going to turn off my screen share, and turn off camera would be turning off this video. So super easy. You can also disconnect from the voice channel by clicking this. So disconnect. So that's going to remove me from that voice channel. Now I'm just looking at the text chat, right? So it's all there, just looking at the text chat. Okay. If I wanted to invite somebody to this server so they have permanent access, I can right click on it and invite people. And so the way this works is normally this is going to be a temporary link. And so I can click copy and it will temporarily allow people to join the server. However, you can edit that invite link and tell it to expire never. And if you do that, you can set the maximum number of uses of that link. So for example, if I set this to never and I set this to one use, I'm going to click generate a new link. And so I'm going to click that, and there we go. So now this link that is hidden, I'm going to copy that, and I could send that to somebody, and they would be able to use it in a year from now, and it would still work. But once they use it one time, it's not going to work anymore. You can also invite people by just searching for their email or just clicking on an invite button that shows up. So super, super easy to send those invites. You can mute servers, so it's basically turning them off. Here's the server settings where you can set the roles for the servers, right? So you can determine who is in what role, right? So here's administrator, here's what they get access to, here's everyone, there's what they get access to. To make a new role, you just click create and you can type whatever you want. So this is the new volunteers, something like that, right? We'll make them pink because they're new volunteers. And so you can allow them to see what they can do in their various servers. And then over here, you're going to save changes. So then going back to your server here, you'd basically set the permissions for that channel. So we'd say, who do we want to have in this? Well, right now it's everyone. Well, we could take out everyone and say only new volunteers are allowed in this channel, right? So that's how this works, right? You can put individual people or you can put roles or members, and that will allow them to join and access those channels with the permission settings that you've set for them. Here's your notification. Here's your pinned messages. Here's your member list, which you can close or open, and you can search. Here's your inbox, which is going to be unread messages and mentions. And most importantly of all is right at the top at the home screen here. These are actually just direct messages. So people can basically you can click on any one of these messages and see direct private communications that nobody else can read. It's just between you and them. So it's just replacing like emails or something like that. Here's start a new group DM, which will pop open like this. You select the number of people that you want to include in the group and you can have a group chat. So this is by far my favorite in terms of these kind of important softwares for 2020. It's such a powerful tool and there's so much more that we could get into. Ooh, it also has this really great noise suppression feature. So for people that have terrible microphones or really noisy backgrounds, this noise suppression effect is so good. It is so powerful. It's really smart and it does a great job of removing any background noise from bad microphones. So people that have problems can just leave that on. Okay. Guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for our lesson on meeting software and platforms. And I hope you guys check out, especially the two that I can recommend the most would be Google Meet and its integrations with Google Calendar for external meetings, and for your team and your team members, setting up a Discord server for them, because it is free and it's by far the most powerful of the bunch. All right. That's going to wrap it up today, guys. So have a good one, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.